There's many different things, from the branches to the roots and even the rings. The truth about trees is more than the eye can see, from the products that we all use to the foods we eat. The truth about trees.
Hey kids, my name is Tommy McDonald and I'm a furniture maker. The greatest thing about being a furniture maker is I get to work with wood all day long. You know, it's hard to believe, but there are more trees in North America today than there were 50 years ago. Today we're going to be building a planter box, and I invited my friend Courtney to join me here in the shop. All right, Courtney, well, I have the parts. What do you think?
It's really cool.
Awesome, right?
Yeah.
Now, where do you think this wood comes from?
From a tree in the forest?
That's right, but you know what? There's actually a long process to get a tree to a piece of wood like this here in my shop.
Really?
Yeah, so why don't I show you how it's done?
Okay.
All right, gang, well, here we are in the middle of the forest. You know, the air is super clean, and I have seen tons of little, animals scurrying around all over the place. I have to tell you, it's a little bit buggy, but that's okay. You probably can't notice it, but this is actually an active harvesting site. And to learn more about harvesting, we're gonna talk to our friend, Dr. Houston. Hey, Doc.
Good to see you, Tommy.
You too. Now, you're a forester, correct?
I am.
Now, what does that mean to us?
What it means is it's someone who manages the forest. And what that means is from little seedlings all the way to grown trees, we manage the forest all through its life.
So, Doc, do we just come in and take down every tree in the forest?
Oh, no, Tommy, let me show you.
That's good.
This is good. I want to show you because we've got things right here that I can talk about. Here's a tree that they took, and this tree was large.
Yeah.
This tree would go somewhere to make a product, but it was time for it to go because trees don't live forever. We have one right there that's dead, and
look at that.
Probably the same age, but it's left to die. And here's another one that died sometime back.
Oh, look at this. I didn't even notice this. So this is a tree that was probably cut down years ago, right? That just happens to be decaying, and it must fill the floor with a lot of nutrients for the big trees to grow, huh?
Absolutely. And the other thing too, here's a tree that they left. This will be ready for us next time, and we can come back in 10 or 15 years and this tree will be ready to cut. But here's something that's very important. Look at this little guy.
Oh,
this little guy right here, this little tree, trees like it, they may be 30 years old.
Okay.
They grew up in the shade, they couldn't live, they died back. They grew up in the shade, they died back. And so that little tree's been putting down a root system all along. And you can see now it's got its head in the sunlight.
Yep.
And that sunlight is a dynamo. And what will happen is now is this seedling has a chance to make it up there.
Okay, so this tree, this little sapling has more light to it because we've cut down trees on this side, giving it more light, right?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So you can see this is really a continuous ecosystem, and whenever we cut one tree down or clean up some debris or get rid of like some disease, it makes this forest much more healthier so we can continue to cut trees down for a very long time, right?
Tommy, that's perfect because what we want to do really is we want to leave this forest in better shape than we found it. So that means that we can come back and we have this tree, and it's just a process that we can visit this forever. Tommy, look at this. This is very interesting.
What do we got?
Well, this is grapevine. And when it was very shady here, before this tree was removed, it was very small, you can see.
Yeah.
But once the sunlight hits the forest floor, it's going to grow and be everywhere.
Wow.
And that's good, because the wildlife, deer particularly, will eat the berries and will eat the leaves. So that's a good thing for deer.
All right, Doc. Well, that might be good for the deer, but what about all of our other friends here in the forest?
Well, we've got lots of sunlight, but we've still got plenty of trees.
Oh,
so
great.
All of the other wildlife that were living here are going to continue to live here.
Oh, perfect. Well, now that I know all of our little critter friends are good, the deer are going to be good, what do you say I grab my chainsaw and we cut down a few trees?
The process is pretty interesting. The first thing, the trees they're marked, which ones we want to take. There's a big machine that will come in and will cut the tree down and actually carry it around like a bouquet of flowers. When they lay it down, another machine will come called a skidder. We'll grab it and bring it to what's called the loading deck. And then we have another big machine called the knuckle boom loader, which will grab it, pick it up, cut it off where they want it to cut off, where it'll fit on the trailer, load it on the tractor trailer, and then it takes off to the market.
Wow, those machines are amazing and they look like a lot of fun to drive. Now, Doc, after we harvest the woods, how long does it take to grow back?
You know, I know just the guy to talk to.
Let's go see him.
Let's go. Tommy, I want you to meet my tree farmer friend, John.
Hi, John. How you doing?
All right.
Now, I have a question for you. I need to know, how long does it take a freshly harvested forest site to look just like this one here? I mean, this is really amazing.
Tommy, this site was harvested selectively about 10 years ago.
Really? So those skidders and all those trucks and all that chaos was flying through here too?
That's right.
That's awesome. It looks like it's never been touched.
It's been touched a lot of times, actually, because my grandfather bought this back 100 years ago, and it was a farm.
It was a farm, like literally like a field?
Right.
That's amazing.
And it grew up over the years, and it's been harvested many times.
So, John, as a tree farmer, right, did you go along and plant a bunch of little trees throughout the forest?
Oh, no way. They just come up. Some of them are sprouts that come up from roots, and they're seedlings that come up from acorns and nuts that animals plant for us.
Okay, so Mother Nature does the majority of the work here in the forest. It just replenishes itself,
That's right. If it's inside a forest where you've cut the trees, then they'll regenerate naturally, come back.
So as a farmer, you basically keep your eye on the trees that are ready to be harvested for use every day and to make sure that the little ones have plenty of room to grow, correct?
That's right.
That is awesome. Dr. Houston, can you tell me a few benefits of a full forest?
Sure, Tommy. One of the things that a forest does is it produces oxygen.
And that's good for everybody.
But you know, another thing we don't think about it very much is that every time it adds wood, that it grows a little, it's actually sucking carbon out of the atmosphere because wood is partially made out of carbon.
And we all know what carbon is. It's what we breathe out. So we exhale carbon, breathe in oxygen, right?
Right.
Now, what happens to all that carbon once it gets stored here in the forest?
Well, we can take that tree, we can cut it down, we can take it to the sawmill, we saw it up into a board, and that carbon's still there. So if we put it in a house or put it in any kind of a product, the carbon's there.
Now, what happens if we just let all the trees fall down naturally in the forest?
Well, we've made a choice. When we let that happen, nutrients are returned to the soil, certainly, but that carbon is released again and goes into the atmosphere.
It goes right back into the atmosphere.
It does.
So it's always a good idea to cut down a few trees right when they're ready to be cut into the perfect piece of wood, right?
What's really important is that you can use cutting, harvesting, to keep a forest healthy.
Awesome. Now, thanks for the information. I really had a great time. But we are off to the sawmill because we're going to learn how they cut these giant logs into little pieces of wood that we're going to be using on our planter box today. So once the log leaves the forest, it shows up at a place just like this, called the sawmill. Look at the size of this blade. You know, there's a ton of huge machinery here. And to learn more about what happens to the log, let's talk to our friend Mark. Hi Mark, how you doing?
All right, Tommy, you?
I'm doing great. Now, can you tell me what happens to the log once it shows up here?
Sure, I can tell you. It's brought in on log trucks and unloaded out on the yard with a knuckle boom loader. We cut it to length right here. It travels down the track here and goes into a debarker that we take, and first we remove the bark from the log.
All right, now what happens to that bark? You know, does it just get thrown away?
No, it travels out from underneath the debarker, and we use it to make mulch with.
Oh, great. So the bark mulch is basically what we see around our yards every day, around the trees and, you know, flower beds, right?
That's correct.
So what happens to the log once it travels through?
Well, it travels on inside the sawmill.
Okay.
And we have a whole bunch of different saws in there that chop it up into a lot smaller pieces.
That's awesome. Now, here's a question. What happens to, say, all the chips and the sawdust that's created from cutting apart the logs?
Well, the sawdust is used for boiler fuel to make electricity. The chips are used to make paper.
That's unbelievable. So all those chips eventually turn into paper. So you can see that every little bit of this tree gets used here at the mill, right?
Every bit of it.
That is unbelievable. Now, I got a little favor. Can I go play with that little machine, the what do you call it?
The knuckle boom.
Yeah, the knuckle boom.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go check it out. I've been waiting to do this all day. It's really hard. It's like a really difficult video game, okay? And everything's really heavy. And I think I better get out of the machine before, you know, I break it. Okay, I'll see you later. So coming from the sawmill, you would think that this wood was ready to be used, but you can't. It's soaking wet. And to learn more about the drying process, we're gonna talk to our friend Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Tommy. How are you, bud?
doing?
Good.
Can you tell me the process on how this wood dries?
Well, what we're doing here is when a tree is sawn into lumber, it's still green, very wet. And you can't make furniture and cabinets and things out of it that way, so you have to put it into a kiln to dry it so that it's usable. It's a lot like when you were in second grade and you made like a clay pot for your mom for Mother's Day and you molded it and it was wet and soft, and then you put it in that thing called a kiln, and when it came out it was hard and usable. That's exactly what we're doing with the wood here. We're just making it hard and usable so it can be made into furniture, cabinets, flooring, moldings, and things like that.
So, Bill, do you have any surprise products that come from trees that we may not know about?
Yeah, there's some that aren't obvious at all. Toothpaste,
Toothpaste?
chocolate,
Yummy.
tape, crayons,
Wow.
and even my favorite, football helmets.
And ping pong balls.
And ping pong paddles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before I head back to the shop, I'm going to school you on how to play ping pong.
Let's go do it.
That was pretty cool, huh, Courtney?
Yeah, that was a lot of work.
I know. And you know what? It was really cool to learn that, little saplings grow into those huge trees, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what do you say we bang our planter box together?
Okay.
All right. Don't hit my fingers, okay? Nice job. Good job. Alrighty, one more. Way up here, you know what I mean? If you miss it, it's okay. Like I miss all the time. One more. Nice job. All right, Courtney, last hole and we are done. Nice job. Now, what else do you think comes from trees?
Nail polish.
How about your bed,
Ice cream.
your house,
Bubblegum.
your school,
Brownie.
books,
Fireworks.
pencils?
And a lot of other stuff.
Definitely. Hey, now Courtney, check it out. What we have here is a little tiny tree, and this is a maple tree. Now, this tree is gonna grow to be big and strong someday, just like you. And I want you to have it.
Thanks. And it was so fun learning the truth about trees.
What do you say we go get an ice cream?
Sure. Could we get my nails done?
Sure, mine too.
The truth about trees covers many different things, from the branches to the roots and even the rings. The truth about trees is more than the eye